Okay, so have you ever really thought about blinking? I mean, actually thought about it.
Probably not, right? It's like breathing, just happens.
Exactly. We only notice maybe when our eyes feel gritty or tired, but otherwise, it's just completely automatic, pure reflex.
Absolutely. It's one of those constant background processes, and maybe because it's so automatic, we don't often stop to consider how vital it really is.
And the numbers are just wild when you look at them, like 15, maybe 20 times a minute.
That's about right. It adds up incredibly quickly.
Yeah, to over 20,000 times every single day. And then over a whole lifetime, you're talking nearly 500 million blinks.
500 million. It's staggering.
500 million times your body just does something without you thinking. It really makes you wonder, what's actually going on there?
It certainly does. I mean, any action that repetitive has to be serving some pretty fundamental purposes. And exploring what happens if we stop, well, that really throws its importance into sharp relief.
Okay, perfect lead in. Let's do that thought experiment right now. What if you just decided right now, no more blinking, what breaks first?
Right. The immediate problem is all about the tear film. See, every time we blink, we're spreading this thin, very complex layer of tears over the eye's surface.
Okay, lubrication basically, keep things moving smoothly.
Well, yes, lubrication, but it's much more sophisticated than just, water. These tears, but they're packed with proteins, crucial enzymes like lysozyme, that one's great against bacteria,
Lysozyme, okay.
and antibodies too for fighting off infections, plus things called mucins, which help the tears actually stick to the eye properly, giving you that nice smooth coating.
Wow, okay. So if you stop blinking,
Hmm.
this whole protective chemical shield just stops getting reapplied.
Precisely. It grinds to a halt.
Yeah.
And without that constant refresh, the cornea, that clear window at the front of your eye that does a lot of the focusing work, it just starts to dry out, to desiccate.
Oof, I can almost feel that. Just thinking about it makes my eyes feel dry. What happens then, beyond just feeling uncomfortable?
Well, first, yeah, you get intense irritation, that gritty, sandy feeling. And your vision would likely start to blur pretty quickly because the cornea's smooth surface isn't smooth anymore when it dries.
Right, it needs to be perfectly smooth for light.
Exactly. But more seriously, as it dries, tiny little cracks can actually form on the surface, microscopic ones at first. These can develop into small, painful ulcers of basically tiny erosions eating into the corneal tissue.
Ulcers, just from not blinking.
If the dryness is chronic, yes. And if that continues, the risk of serious, potentially permanent vision damage, even blindness, goes way up. That clear, hydrated surface is non-negotiable for sight.
That's a pretty stark picture of why we need it physically.
Yeah.
But I think I remember reading something else, something about the brain, like blinking gives the brain a tiny break, a micro reset.
Ah, yes. That's a really fascinating area. It's not just about the physical eye surface. There's growing evidence that the blink itself, that brief moment of darkness, isn't just passive downtime. It seems to actively influence how our brain processes information.
How so? Like a little reboot.
Sort of, yeah. Some studies using brain imaging show that when you blink, certain areas of the brain linked to attention, even to your ongoing sense of consciousness, they briefly change activity, almost like they're taking a mini pause.
A pause for what, though? What's being reset?
Well, one idea is that these tiny visual interruptions help the brain kind of clear the decks, filter out maybe irrelevant sensory noise, allowing us to refocus more effectively when the eyes open again. Some scientists even suggest blinking helps us mentally punctuate our experience.
Punctuate. Like commas or periods for our thoughts.
Kind of, like it helps the brain segment the continuous flow of information into manageable chunks, organizing our perception of events over time. It's a really intriguing idea.
So blinking isn't just keeping our eyes functional. It might actually be helping us think straight, helping us pay attention.
That's definitely one of the key implications. And it gets even more interesting because our blink rate isn't fixed, right? It changes all the time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know when I'm really focusing hard on reading something, I barely blink at all, or feel like I don't.
Exactly. Intense visual focus usually means fewer blinks. But flip side, when people feel anxious or maybe um, are stretching the truth a bit,
The nervous blink.
the blink rate often speeds up. It seems to mirror our internal state, both cognitive and emotional. And there's even this weird social thing, blinking synchrony.
Synchrony, like people blink together.
Sometimes, yeah.
Hmm.
Especially when watching something really emotional or dramatic together, people's blinks can actually line up unconsciously.
Whoa. That suggests some kind of deeper connection, doesn't it? An unconscious social signal, maybe? Makes you think more about blinking and emotion.
It's a very active research field. We see altered blink patterns in neurological conditions like Parkinson's disease and also in psychiatric conditions like schizophrenia.
Hmm.
The patterns change.
How so? Faster? Slower?
It varies, but the fact that they do change suggests a link between the brain pathways controlling the simple motor act and much broader brain functions, including emotional regulation.
That's really significant. Are there other, maybe more everyday links between blinking and how we feel?
Well, it's interesting that infants blink way less than adults. Maybe their visual systems are different or their dopamine systems aren't fully developed, yet dopamine seems involved in spontaneous blinking.
Huh. Less blinking in babies.
And there's also some tentative research suggesting people who say they're in love might blink faster when they're talking to their partner.
Really? Like excitement or arousal?
Possibly indicating maybe heightened engagement or, yeah, arousal. It's subtle stuff.
But it's not always unconscious, is it? I feel like I've heard about actors or maybe politicians controlling their blinking on purpose.
Oh, absolutely. It can be a deliberate nonverbal cue. Blinking very little can project confidence, maybe control, being unwavering. Blinking more might seem nervous, or sometimes maybe more sincere or open, depending on everything else.
It's amazing. Such a basic thing, but tied into eye health, brain function, focus, emotion, even communication, which makes me wonder about other animals. Do they all blink like us? We know snakes don't, right?
That's correct. Snakes have a fantastic solution. They have a clear, fused scale over each eye. It's called a spectacle.
A spectacle, like built-in goggles.
Essentially, yeah. A permanent, transparent, protective layer. So no need for movable eyelids.
Clever. Who else skips blinking?
Well, fish, obviously, living in water. Most insects. Some other reptiles, too. Often it's because their environment keeps their eyes moist or they have other ways to protect them.
Okay, but birds. Birds definitely seem to blink.
Birds do blink their upper and lower lids, yes, but many also have something extra cool. A nictitating membrane.
A third eyelid.
Exactly. It's often translucent or semi-transparent, and it sweeps horizontally across the eye like sideways. It cleans and moistens the eye, but often allows the bird to still see through it to some extent. Think of it like a built-in windshield wiper that doesn't block the view entirely.
Nature is just, wow, so many good solutions for the same problem, protecting the eye. Which brings us back to that urge to blink. I mean, trying not to blink feels almost impossible after a few seconds.
Oh, it becomes incredibly compelling very quickly. There have been experiments, staring contests basically, but scientifically monitored. Even after just a short while, people report a really strong burning, stinging feeling, and their eyes start watering like crazy, a reflex trying desperately to make up for the missing blinks.
So that's just after maybe a minute or two. What if someone really forced themselves, maybe for like half an hour? An hour? I know it sounds crazy, but what would happen?
If someone managed to suppress the urge for that long, yeah, things can get stranger. Beyond the severe discomfort and blurry vision, some people in those prolonged non-blinking studies have reported, well, visual disturbances, even mild hallucinations.
Hallucinations from not blinking.
It's been reported. Also, difficulty concentrating, feeling disoriented. It really underscores how those tiny visual off moments might be crucial for maintaining our stable perception of reality.
That's wild. It's like those brief dark moments are needed to process the on moments properly.
That's one way to think about it, yes. Helping the brain manage the constant flood of visual data. It's maybe related to why sometimes very sleep-deprived people who often blink less report feeling a bit detached, like things aren't quite real.
It really seems like blinking is way more fundamental than we give it credit for.
Yeah.
Not just optional maintenance, but like essential. Has to be evolutionary, right?
Oh, absolutely. Evolution would strongly favor anything that protects our primary sense, vision. So the physical protection aspect is huge. But as we've talked about, the benefits likely go further, aiding nonverbal emotional cues, maybe helping regulate attention and cognitive processing. It's woven into our biology on multiple levels.
It really is like breathing, isn't it? You only truly appreciate it when you think about what happens if it stops.
Exactly. A vital background process, usually unnoticed until it's threatened.
So, to circle all the way back to the start, what if you never blinked again? The answer seems much bigger than just dry eyes.
Much bigger. You're looking at almost certain progressive vision loss from the corneal damage, but potentially also disruptions to your emotional stability, maybe your focus, and in the extreme, possibly even impacting your grip on reality itself.
Wow. Wow. It really is a tiny, underappreciated miracle happening constantly. Blinking.
Couldn't have said it better. Silent guardian, and not just for our eyes, but maybe for our minds, too.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Just for a second, notice your own blinking. Can you recall the last time you cautiously felt yourself blink? Try and catch the next one. And just wonder, for that split second, what else was going on? What were you thinking, feeling, focusing on? It's a tiny, fleeting gateway into how incredibly complex and interconnected our bodies and minds really are.